Hello and welcome to the episode 19 of Coach B Weekly. I'm Ethan Moy. I'm here with Coach B. Coach B, season's over here. Have you gotten any sleep since, we played on Friday?
Well, I've gotten a little more sleep. I have whatever it allows me to have. I mean, my body just wakes up now at a certain time, and then I just decide if I'm going to lay there for another 15 minutes or not. But yeah, I've gotten some more sleep. Just being able to not, obviously have that next game that's constantly on your mind, and it's just a different feel right now. But it's not as much as people would think, and it's that fool's gold that people always think about, that when the season's over,
right,
you hug your seniors, you go back to the locker room, you get on your charter flight, and you go home, and you get home, and everyone just goes on vacation. We get very little time for vacation in this business.
Yeah.
It's like usually in May a little bit.
Yeah.
And right before the players come back in August, you get that time in August. So a little bit in May and August, but definitely when the season's over, it's still 100% on go, and we just got a lot of things that we got to make sure that we iron out here. And obviously recruiting never sleeps. Obviously making sure our schedule's in order and stuff like that. So the long-winded answer, I have gotten a little bit more sleep, but not nearly as much as people would think.
Now, going back to this season here, 22-11 overall record, an NEC regular season title, NEC tournament title, and NCAA tournament berth. If I asked you what one word comes to mind when describing the season, what word would that be?
I would say adversity.
Yeah.
I would say this season, any season you go through, there's adversity. There's no season, every story has that turning point, the climax. And, this season, I think, and adversity was intensified a bunch of different notches. We had a lot of things happen this year that could have really broke us as a team as far as our spirit, our passion.
Right.
But it didn't. And I just remember as the season went on, we constantly had moments of adversity where it was a player going down most of the time.
Yeah.
Where we had to continue to go on without someone that had been playing such a significant role in the team. And that was the story of this season. That was the word I would say. And usually when you hear adversity, you would hear negative. But I feel the reason why we were always able to overcome the adversity was because of the mindset being healthy going forward. And sometimes adversity comes and you see people embrace it with us against the world.
Right.
It's nothing's going to happen for us. We got to just make it happen and all this stuff. We don't have that kind of culture. Our culture is we focus on the things that we're thankful for. There's a lot of joy going on still, even when you have tough moments like adversity moments, like injuries and things like that. We focus on the positive, and we go forward with grace. We go forward with truth and grace. What is the situation? How can we go forward and make it right? Who has to step up? How we're going to make it work? That's all we can do in our culture. Right. And I feel the adversity came this year, and we responded.
Good. Now, last Friday in the NCAA Tournament against Notre Dame, team came back from a 10-0 deficit to tied at 10-10. You mentioned before that last season, the fourth quarter against UConn, fighting back there, was one of the most defining moments of the season. Would you say that coming back from 10 down early in that game would also be a defining moment of this season?
I think it set the tone, and it solidified the team that we had this year, what kind of mentality we had as a team, our culture. Before the game, on the press conference the day before, it was tough for me. I was really under the weather, but I do remember the conversations that we had on that podium, and one of the big things was they wanted me to describe the team. They wanted me to describe what I felt going into this game.
Right.
I could assure would happen, and I never go up there and guarantee victory or talk about seeding or rankings. It was more about trusting the team would battle. I always had a trust in this team that they would battle, as they proved that throughout the season. We talked about the adversity.
Right.
They proved that through those moments of adversity. So we're down 10-0. We're on Notre Dame's floor. They're the number one seed. They're second team they're ranked second in the country.
Yep.
Won their league, regular season, conference tournament, everything. they got everything going for them, and they're up 10-0 on their own floor with their, 9,000 fans.
Yeah, most teams would back down at that time.
We didn't.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. Most teams would back down, and that's what I was confident that the team would go out there and do, and they proved me right.
Yeah.
Battled back to tie it up at 10, and the passion was not lowered a notch when we got down early.
Yeah.
They couldn't miss early, and they were playing well right off the bat. They didn't miss a beat, and we had to be able to match them and come back and fire back at them, and I was proud of the team that they did.
Now, the seniors, Janae Brown, Rebecca Navarro, and Nikki Lamprou, have done so much for this program. 78 overall victories, 53 NEC victories, 4 NEC trips to the NEC championship game, et cetera. To keep with the theme of the one-word thing, what is one word to describe each of them, or just all of them together?
The whole team?
The whole team, the entire senior core.
The whole senior class. I would say this team, this senior class, this team of 3 we had as seniors, the biggest thing that this senior class did this year was they grew up. They grew up. They turned the corner. I would say maturity.
Okay.
I would say maturity. This senior class showed a ton of maturity. And, we always play with passion and all the things that we talk about, the 5 pillars. But, maturity is something that means a lot when it comes to a team going down the stretch like we did and getting to the conference tournament games and stuff. And I would say this senior class separated themselves by being very mature in the process going into that stuff. I felt that the younger players really had a great example to look at on how they were handling the process. And, as a coach, you teach their team, as a coaching staff especially, you teach the team, how they should be going, how they should be thinking, the mental arrangement of how to process everything.
Right.
That's what we teach them. But, when we're not around them, it's got to be player driven. And I always tell the team that no team has ever won coach driven.
Right.
It's got to be player driven. And I felt that the maturity on our senior class this year was outstanding, especially down the stretch. And I felt that that's what this team will be remembered by, a mature group of seniors that really understood their role. And ultimately, I think it benefited the team a lot down the stretch.
Yeah. Now, going back to the NCAA tournament, you, obviously basketball coach, a basketball fan. Do you have a pick that you think is going to win it all?
Well, I would say UConn has a good shot.
Yeah. You kind of have to go with them, but
I don't see a ton of games during our season. All I see is who we're playing and then who's playing against them. Like, we get to see some of these teams that are in the Sweet 16 now because of our scouting early on.
Right.
Like, they'll play teams that we're playing, and so we'll get to see them. So we won't really be zeroing in and focusing on what they do as much.
Right.
But we will be a little bit because, what they do, sometimes we have ideas for. But we got to see some of them. But my knowledge, as much as it should be to make a great prediction, is not where I want it to be. Now, I have watched since we've been done.
Right.
I grew up watching the NCAA tournament, so I'm going to continue to watch and enjoy, and then obviously always look for ideas and what people are doing. I'm always observing. But I would say that there's been some really amazing things going on, especially in the women's side. Just speaking specifically, we got a mid-major in the Sweet 16. Yeah, that's awesome.
Nice run,
That's awesome. I feel really happy for them. And you also have your games where you watched some of the teams just completely blow out the other team. I mean, I seen a team like Baylor win by 90 points. I mean, they're just continuing to go full speed the whole way through to the end of the game. And I saw UConn again have a real, couple of lopsided victories. So seeing them continuing to go like they've been going, I would say from all the games I've watched, UConn to me looks the strongest. But another team that's caught my eye, Maryland. They got a 3 seed. That's what
they were looked at as a 2 in like bracketology too, so maybe a little underseeded. Yeah,
2 to 3 seems like a real big knock on teams just because of who you're going to see earlier in the whole thing. But they seem like they've taken on this 3 seed with with a passion.
Yeah.
And
maybe a little extra motivation there, too.
yeah, I guess if they get by their next game and UConn, of course, gets by their next game, they would meet, and it would be, that would be a big matchup, I think. So I would say UConn for sure. Notre Dame losing Turner.
Yeah.
That's very sad. That's
Absolutely.
very sad. We didn't get a chance to really talk to her too much when we played, but I observed her on the court. She seemed like she was really a great team player from what I saw, and she seemed like she worked really hard, and their team really was built around her and Allen.
Yeah.
Allen had a lot of assists this year, and a lot of them went to Turner.
Right.
Really dynamic player to lose. She can really go up and get any ball. I've never seen anyone throw the ball up to someone like that, and her just go get it wherever it is and finish. It's such great body control, and defensively, just in our game, I could just see how
the
she
length
plays.
that she provides inside there just changes a lot of shots.
Coordination with length and just an ability to maneuver her body around. It's just crazy that she wound up tearing her ACL going up and getting one of those lobs like they throw up to her so much. So our prayers are with her. Our prayers are with them and with her. Obviously we went to battle with them, and going forward we wanted to see them reach all their goals and do the best they can, and that's unfortunate. I think that Notre Dame has an opportunity though here to kind of go through what we went through, where you lose someone that's super important to your team. This could be very magical with them now going forward. So I'm gonna go out there and pick Notre Dame to go all the way to the finals and step up and overcome this horrible injury that occurred to them. That's gonna be my wild card pick, Notre Dame, because I think everyone is counting them out.
Right.
And I'm not that type of person.
Right.
I've seen people do some heroic things. I see some teams do some heroic things. So I'm going to take Notre Dame to be the hero as a team and to step up with the injury.
All right, that's bold. I like it, though. Now, going back to Rob Moore's team here, for the returning players coming into 17-18, what do they have to do in the offseason to continue this run of success?
Well, you got to work really hard. You got to understand that I always say, when it comes to development, you got to handle things with truth and go forward with grace. Okay, that's always our mindset about how we handle things, and you have to handle that way for the off season. This time of year, everything is shut down basketball-wise under my system. I don't want anyone feeling obligated to being in the gym and putting hours in right now, because we just went through a long marathon, and academics is so important to us. That I want their total focus to be on academics. And, like I said, you'll hear a lot of coaches a lot of times say, academics is a priority, it's a top priority. Well, you got to make it your priority. So we really make it our priority now.
Put it into practice here.
Put it into exactly. And so we're going to be really focusing on that right now. So right now the players are resting, and if they get in the gym and do it on their own, that's great. If they're in the weight room, that's great. You don't want to lose too much because too much time off. But there's no mandatory stuff right now. So right now it's rest and go at your own pace when it comes to this basketball and lifting. But academics is not at your own pace. It's 100. It's 100% right now of your focus is on academics. Not basketball and academics. Once that's over with and we're done with this semester and we can get going into the summer and stuff, they have to understand that truth with grace is going to have to be really fought after early. You have to make sure that you know what you got to get better at. When you get in there with the coaches, you have to show the coaches that you're focused on those areas that you got to get better at. And then when you have the time on your own, you do them on your own. No player is going to get better by coming in and working for an hour and then going off and then waiting for the next workout. You got to get in the gym. You got to work on the things you got to get better at. If you need somebody else to be there with you, you need to do it with groups. You need to bring a teammate with you. That's what a team's all about. And so that's what's going to happen. That's what we're going to need to continue to go forward. Now, obviously winning the championship this year, you see the reward of the hard work. But, whether you win a championship or you don't, it's the process that means so much. You'll be so successful if you can look back, and even if you don't win the championship, and see how hard you pushed yourself, how better you got. And that's got to be our motivation now. When we get into the summer, it's got to be, this is part of the process. In order for me to get better, I have to work hard this summer, and I have to go through the process well. So I think that would be the most important thing in step one, is knowing what you need to do better, getting in the gym on your own and doing it, and handling it with grace. This is all joy. How many players would love to be in your position working on getting back for the Division I basketball.
Right, absolutely.
So.
And lastly here, do you have any personal goals for the off season to get better?
Always, every year, whether I was just starting off as an assistant or associate head coach or now as a head coach, you can learn every minute of the day.
Right.
We don't challenge ourselves enough to utilize how much power our brain has. We think we overload our brain.
Yeah.
We don't scratch the surface.
Yeah, you can't do that.
I think there's been studies that said that our brain we only use like 5% of what it's worth. But I'm always learning. I'm always I really enjoy watching the March Madness and getting ideas.
Yeah.
I enjoy watching the NBA, especially in the playoffs when they play really hard.
Yeah.
The actions they do and how they defend it and stuff. So I'll obviously be reaching out to a lot of my close friends and stuff and trying to get in with them and sit down and see some of their summer workouts. I'll travel a little bit and try to see some other things some people are doing that I respect a lot. That'll really be my off season as far as that. And obviously I'm looking forward to working with the players and going and doing things with the players, going out and into the community and having more time now to spend time with the kids. We have a clinic on Saturday.
It's right back at it.
Right. We have a free clinic on Saturday in the arena, and that's for all the local youth kids to come in and enjoy a free clinic where the players are going to work with them and the coaches are going to be there.
Okay.
And just supporting the other teams now too. I mean, that's going to be something we really focus on too. We have our women's lacrosse game on Saturday that they were out in the seats cheering for us when we were making our run for the conference championship, and we don't forget that at all.
So I'm looking repay the favor.
I'm looking forward to going and doing that. So that'll be a lot of the off season, a lot of work, a lot of recruiting. I mean, recruiting will be obviously something that never sleeps. Whether you're set up for the year or the next 2 years, there's 3 years, there's 4 years. Never sleeps. You should always be doing that. And we're cracking at it right now. And when it comes time for us to be able to travel, we got some travels in the end of April. We got a lot of travels in July, and we'll be preparing for those. And that's really what my summer will be, and the coaching staff will be. And we're looking forward to it. There's a lot of joy for this summer.
And a little bit of relaxation.
Yeah, like they said, that little vacation that I'm going to take, wherever that may be. I'll make sure I let you know where that is. But I'm looking forward to that too, and spending some time, being able to maybe take a weekend or so too, and see some of my relatives. They came out. I was really appreciative too of the relatives that came out for me and for the players and the coaching staff. It was great down the stretch there, even though we don't really look in the crowd too much. But knowing that they were there, and then after the game, having them there to celebrate with us, it was great to see family members and friends and everything. And so I want to make sure that when I get the opportunity, I want to
repay them.
Repay that. Just go in and visit for a day or something and get to see those people, because I really appreciated them coming out for us. It's very special when you can remember sharing the moments we had this season. What a year it was. And to share the moments we had with people, it means everything. All from you guys, the support staff doing the show. It's so much joy, and people take it for granted, and you can't. This was a magical season, and I'm very proud of the team, and I'm very appreciative of everyone that supported us and was there for us all the time. It's been outstanding.
Well, once again, thank you, and have an enjoyable off season.
Thanks, Ethan. I appreciate you too.
Thank you. I will. Make sure to follow the Colonials on Twitter at RMUW Basketball, or on Instagram with the same handle. And for all things RMU Colonials basketball, go to rmucolonials.com.